Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, but as you're seeing a very different Hearts of Iron 4, this is because this is another mod review. If you cannot already tell, this mod just came into the workshop. I can't technically remember the name. I know it's something Economic Crisis 2015. As you can see, we're in 2015, so this is another kind of modern day mod. But of course, this is a year before Barack Obama needs to worry about leaving his presidency. So he's still in office, of course, as we all know. Now, the political parties don't really stand, of course, like it does in the other modern day mod. The political parties here are much different. So that's one of the number one things that have been changed. As you can see, the look of this is also different. It's using a political view kind of mod, which I'm guessing a sub mod, and it looks nice. I mean, this is actually one of the ones that I actually like more than anything else. Of course, they all do the same thing, but the colors in this one are pretty enough to where I'm not really that annoyed by it. But it adds a lot of new things. Of course, the Chinese People's Republic, as it's called here in the game, of course, it's not called China. That's one of the minor things that's changed. Of course, as you can see, some of the portraits are also changed, and it does have a few other demographics in it. As you can see, North Korea, South Korea is still there. One of the biggest things that I do like about this mod, other than the other modern day mod, is the fact that you have the opportunity to build nuclear bombs from the start. Now, here's where we're going to get very, very into things. As you can see, this is a very different chain of events as far as the research is concerned. It's very different than the other modern day mod that we were looking at. We have basic equipment, weapons 1, then we have improved infantry equipment 1 to move into weapons 2, and then we get into improved infantry equipment 2 to get into weapons 3, and so on. Now, because I'm playing as Russia technically, they've been working on Russia a little bit more than the rest of the countries, so a lot of these countries aren't fully done as far as their research is concerned, which of course I get that because it's going to be very difficult to move on, but the things are very much changed and it looks really good. The motorized units, all of these pictures, most of these pictures have been changed. As you can see, you start as Russia, you start with the T-18, the T-35, and the T-26, and then you continue moving down from there. Now the tanks are fully done with Russia, I believe. Artillery, I don't know if this is just like the base game or if it's not. I don't know if they changed anything in it, so I'm not going to say anything about the artillery. Of course, none of these I'm guessing would ever be changed. And then you have, of course, the background for the Navy, but I don't think the actual Navy has been changed. I could be wrong. Research time, of course, is actually still kind of the same thing as the base game, so I don't know much about how that's going to affect it, and I know they're probably going to change that, the mod creators, of course. But overall, this mod is looking stellar. For just getting onto the workshop, it's looking very stellar. So the research and everything has been changed a lot. As you can see, there's a little bit more world tension now because ISIS is also a thing now. If you look down here, we have ISIS as an actual threat and problem here. So you can see that they have a thing called Radical Islam, 100%. So they are now in the picture. They actually have troops, they actually have men, and they have spots around the world where they've taken control of. Also, of course, we saw last time with the Syrians under Bashar al-Assad, the actual civil war is raging. The Syrian opposition is going. Of course, as you can see right now, they are fighting each other. So it's actually looking like chaos over here in the Middle East, which I really firmly enjoy. As you can see, here is Palestine under Prince Henry. Don't believe that's actually true. I think that might be something else. So do not believe in that as of right now. Then you have other countries down here that, of course, are crazy enough that you would think is in this whole mess of things. But now you have also Israel, so that I'm guessing is going to spark off very soon with those tensions. And of course you have the Syrian Civil War, and then you have ISIS over here. So So it's very much changed in the Middle East. There's actually a problem in the Middle East, where in the other modern day mod, we kind of think of it as a problem. Like, we don't technically see it, but we think of it as a problem. Here in this modern day mod in 2015, it is. ISIS is very much a problem. Technically, though, the United States or Russia or any of the people in NATO or the CSTO do not start at war with ISIS. We have to justify a war with ISIS, which of course takes around the same amount of time that it would to justify a war with any other nation. Also, of course, Russia taking over Crimea. That is a thing down here. They have taken over Crimea, and I believe in the where are you states that is still called Crimea, just making sure. But you have the Republic of Ukraine, very democratic, and I don't know, are they actually a part of NATO? They are not, technically, but they are very democratic, which would make for an interesting little thing to see if you can snag them into NATO. So very cool, very cool. Then you have the China sphere, which is something new. They can't technically join the CSTO like you think they would be able to. They have the China sphere. They have their own thing, which is very fun. So you could try to get the People's Republic of Korea. You could try to get them to join you in the China sphere and actually help out with a possible war of South Korea. But as you can still tell, the United States still guarantee the independence of Korea, which is, of course, very smart. And Japan also plays as its own nation. Instead of in the Cold War, when you see that Japan is puppeted by the United States, they are actually their own nation, and the independence of them is guaranteed by us. But they are not actually a puppet of us. So you can see that I think the political views and all this, it actually looks really good. I think it looks very clean. I could be wrong, and of course some of you may not like it. I used to think that this didn't really look too well, but it actually doesn't look half bad. But of course, I can't turn this off in the mod. The look of this is just how you have to play it. If you don't like the look of it, maybe this isn't the best mod for you. But I don't know. I'd like it enough to play it. And I don't know who to start a series with, because I'm thinking of a few things with this mod. Me and Rated are already thinking about making a multiplayer. Most likely, that'll go up on his channel. So if you do want to see this mod in a multiplayer aspect with me and Rated, that'll be on his channel. So of course I will either link his channel in the description, or if you go to my channel directly and you look at the featured channels on the right side, you'll see Rated GT's channel. You can just click that and go over to him and do that. Now, of course, by the way, just this is a little refresher while I'm doing it. The North Korea Soviet Union is also going to be on Rated's channel. So if you want to go over and see that as well, we're going to be recording more of those very soon and getting those out to you guys. For those of you who are loving that series and want to see it continue, we are going to be doing that over on Rated's channel. So if you do want to see that, go over there as well and show my boy Rated some support. He really needs it. He is doing really well with his channel. He's doing a lot of editing. He's making his videos very good. He's made a new intro. He's doing a lot for himself. I know he recently is doing a lot more with his channel. So you should go over and give him a little bit of support from our fans here in Glen Games over to Rated. We need to show him a little love. But continuing on. So this is a really cool mod, and I don't know if you guys want to see a single player, just me alone, playing this mod as well. Throw up some countries that you might want to see. Of course, the Russian Federation is the one that's the most updated to the mod. They've worked the most on the Russian Federation right now, as far as I can tell. And I think Russia also has their own tree, their own unique tree, national focus tree, which is very, very good. I haven't looked at it, so this is actually huge. My goodness, they got a lot. And of course, it looks like that you can choose to recover the USSR, which would be really cool. I wonder if you were to change to communism, would you in fact change back to the Soviet Union? That would be cool. And I wonder if Putin would stay the leader of the country. But you can see that also a lot of portraits are different. Again, I don't know much about my history. There's David Cameron, which I know a little bit about him. They have Spain, France, Italy. I think they even have, not Croatia. I don't know if they have any of these guys. They have Greece. I don't think so. Don't think so. I very much don't think so, but I could be wrong. Romania, no. No. Polish, they do, which is very cool. Lithuania and the rest of the Baltics, they don't. Norway, they do not. Iceland, no. Denmark, no. Canada, yes. I do remember they did have Canada. The United States under Barack Obama, of course. They do have Brazil, which is very good. They don't have Mexico, sadly enough. Do they have Australia? They do have Australia, so that's very cool as well. They don't have Vietnam, but again, Vietnam is communist, so that would be something if we were to choose a democratic nation, maybe Japan. We could go over to Vietnam, take out Vietnam, and have an entryway into China if we would want to destroy them. Now, the good thing, if NATO were to attack China, let's say if I was playing the United States and I attacked China, only people in the China sphere would help them and would try to work with them. The CSTO technically can't get into that war, which is very good because they're a part of a different faction. Of course, they can send volunteer forces and things like that, but they cannot actually get into a war with the China sphere unless they make one giant union, which I don't believe you can actually do in Hearts of Iron 4. So, if you're playing as the United States, that might actually be an option. Now, China doesn't have the biggest military in this mod to start out. I think their military should be a little bit bigger. Russia doesn't start off with a pretty gigantic military. I thought they had a pretty decent one. But again, I could be wrong. And of course, that's where the recruitment and things come into play. Your manpower also is very, very small compared to the Cold War. If you don't want gigantic amounts of units everywhere, this mod might be one for you. Cold War, of course, is still very fun, even though we're in a massive scale war with a ton of units. That, of course, it's not really the worst. Now, I don't know, but they say that a Ukrainian Civil War has also been added. I do not know if that's actually going to become a thing, if they're actually just going to randomly try to split themselves or not. I'm not sure. But the people of Ukraine may end up getting into that civil war. But as we're starting this, in the Middle East is going to be something really cool to watch, because there's going to be starting out war with ISIS and Syria and possibly Israel and Palestine. Of course, in Iraq, maybe in... Does Iran fight them as well? No. Saudi Arabia? No. Egypt? No. Libya does. There's a lot of people that are actually at war with ISIS. Islamists. Yep. Nigeria. Yes. Are those their war goals? I think those are their available war goals. No, they're fighting an offensive war. And then they're also fighting a defensive wars against Syria, it looks like. And then also the Syrian oppression, which is very cool. So you're going to see a lot of fighting over in this general area at the start of your campaign if you play this mod, or if you guys want me to play this mod. So again, I want your feedback for this. I think this mod is really cool, and I think it has a lot of potential. Of course, I'm not ruling out the modern day mod. That modern day mod is swell, and it's actually, of course, more put together at the moment. There's a lot more pictures and things, and a lot more national focus trees that are going into it, and such and such. So there's a lot of different things in that mod already. But this mod has a lot of potential for being a starter on the workshop page. Now, one of the most anticipated mods still coming out for Hearts of Iron 4 and still being updated right now, I'm still following it, waiting for it to come out, is the World War 1 mod. Do not worry, we will do a series on the World War 1 mod, because that was a big thing in Hearts of Iron 3, and if I were doing YouTube back then in Hearts of Iron 3, I definitely would have done that. But now that we're waiting, I'm going to be waiting for it to come out, and I think it's going to be exciting once that comes out as well. So as the Russian Federation, I don't know. We could take out Finland. We could actually move into NATO. We could do a lot of things. We could go against China, because they're in their own sphere. We could attack China, take out China for ourselves, become massive. We could. Who knows? If we want to play as Russia, of course, there's all of these nations. Every single one of these nations are playable. And some of them do actually have their pictures, which is very cool. I don't think every single one of them has their pictures. I think most of these still have to get them added. but most of them, it does look very good. Sudan, South America, no. So a lot of these don't actually have their portraits. But for those that they do, it's very good. Awesome. Awesome job. And of course, Cuba, still communist, very good with that. So the United States could think about taking the revolutionary Cuba, which is also a big thing that they could do. So I leave this to you. I want to hear your feedback of it. And I think this is a really good mod to start out. And I would love to do a series on it, but of course I have a lot of series going at the moment. And I want to know if you guys do want to see 3 series at a time, or if you want to sacrifice one series for another, or I just want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys want to see. But this mod has caught my eye. I saw this earlier today and I was like, I have to at least put up a mod review of this. I think it's going to be awesome to put a mod review of this and to show it. So, until then, I leave you with the decisions that I put in front of you. Do you guys want to see a series on this? And if so, what country do you want to see? Do you want to see all 3 series going at one time? Do you want to take one out? What do you want to do? I leave it to you. And of course, I would have a lot of fun doing whatever you guys chose, because that's what matters. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this to entertain you and to be fun and have fun with all of you. So, I guess until then, I will see you in the next episode. Of course, like this video if you want to see something like this happen, or if you just liked the video. Comment. Of course, all of these things I've already told you to comment, or comment anything you'd like. Of course, that's always fine too. And then, of course, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe. We're doing all of these series of Hearts of Iron 4, and we're also doing The Long Dark. So if you have not seen that, go and look at that. That's going to be an awesome series to do, and I think it's going to be really fun. But until then, everybody, Glenn Games signing off as always. Until then, take care.